Hello, BookTube. I've got another Irish stew video for you where I pull together a whole bunch of stuff that's obsessing me or bothering me at the moment. And like a frail old senior citizen anywhere in your life, I expatiate on that while you sit bored. And these Irish stew videos seem to be popular with you. You seem to like them. And I certainly am never going to miss an opportunity to vent and rant. So I thought we'd do another one for a nice quiet Sunday, except when I want to read from Can You Forgive Her, in which case it's the end of the world loud outside. I can't close the windows because it's boiling hot, so I will just have to put up with background noise on an otherwise beautiful day. And once again, we're going to continue these in the way that we're doing them. So we'll start with the world, and then we'll go to United States, my own country, and then we'll go to broader YouTube, and then to BookTube, and then to me. Whatever problem is bothering my pretty little head at the moment. And with the world, we will start off with a world figure, which is Pope Leo XIV, first American pope, the new pope, as he is still called. He has been making pronouncements as the world tries to figure out what kind of a pope he's going to be. The broader world, the more cynical 21st century world, has wondered, is he going to be a pope who we can do business with? Or is he going to be a pope who's going to be all tedious about Christianity? And it turns out, the more he talks, that whenever he has the nerve to mention a principle, a guiding tenet of Christianity, the whole world goes crazy, especially MAGA, the religious cult in this country that is entirely predicated on the exact mirror opposites of Christianity. Even though all of them consider themselves to be absolutely strident, born-again Christians. They are no longer Christians. They belong to a new religion. And Pope Leo XIV, it's so strange to say Leo XIV instead of Leo X. Leo X is the Leo that I know. But he recently made comments about the inhuman treatment of illegal immigrants or immigrants of any kind here in the United States, where they are being tear-gassed, shot, abducted off the streets without any paperwork, without any warrant, without any cause, and shipped off to torture facilities where they are worked to death and then die. To concentration camps, in other words. They're being brutal, horrible ends. Children being left just wandering on the sidewalk. All their people have been gone. Children are just left there, crying. Anyone going to take them in? No one, literally, they don't know anyone, and no one knows them. This is happening every day in American communities across the country. And Americans are getting used to it. It is functionally indistinguishable from what was happening in the streets of German cities almost 100 years ago. It's functionally indistinguishable. There is no legal basis for it. It's all hyper-militarized. American citizens are being caught up in the net, and American citizens are also being brutalized if they show up at the moment and say, "Don't truncheon in my neighbor." American elected representatives are being brutalized. So the Pope looked at that and said it was inhuman. It is absolutely, on its flat face, inhuman. But MAGA went nuts about that, and they haven't shut up about it. It's been like 24 hours since then. They haven't shut up about what a bad Pope this is. All the MAGA leading apologists are all arch-Christian. They're all arch-Christian, and they never stop talking about it. It is a very prominent part of their grift. I say grift because they aren't Christians. They might worship Donald Trump, but they're probably atheists. They certainly aren't Christians. By their fruit shall you know them. They aren't Christians. But they've been going on and on about how this is a bad pope. Imagine him calling these treatment inhuman. Imagine him not signing up with MAGA. And that struck me as very interesting because that is yet another harbinger of a problem that is coming to every member of MAGA, all of whom are arch-conservative Christians. They're all going to have to face this problem eventually. MAGA is concentrated. It loves, it adores, it puts on a pedestal not only a racist, sexist, fascist, lying moron, rapist, fraud from Queens who is himself an atheist. MAGA considers Donald Trump to be not only blessed and saved by God, but also more than human. They not only put him on a pedestal, they also put all of his beliefs on a pedestal. Savagery, cruelty, bigotry, sexism, racism. All of that is core to MAGA. The cruelty, as you've heard a million times, is the point. This is a church of cruelty. And Christianity is the opposite of that. The tenets of Christianity, at its best, are the exact opposite of that. The Lamb of God. That if you want to be first, you must be last. You must love your enemy. You must do good for those who vilify you. All across the country, in this country, the United States, people have filmed Christian congregations booing their pastors or preachers when the preachers read those words from the pulpit on Sunday service. Those congregations are no longer Christian. They are MAGA. And MAGA, you wouldn't think that would be much of a shift, but MAGA is radically different from Christianity. It's the exact opposite of Christianity. It's entirely predicated on hating other people and hating and hatefully attacking them, which is the exact cycle that Jesus in his best preachings was trying to break. Don't return violence for violence. Don't return hatred for hatred. Be the one who stops that, who takes the lashes on his own back. God help you in most of middle America if you're a pastor and you try to say that to your congregation. God help you. You're lucky you won't be shot because they have another God now. So I don't know. I guess it's not going to be that much of a problem for most of those congregations, but for Catholics, for MAGA Catholics, they are headed for trouble because their Pope does not believe in the tenets of their new religion. So that struck me. That contrast strikes me. And then when we get to the United States, it's a sillier subject, of course. It's deadly serious to the one person involved. In Arkansas, there was another bear attack, and this one was fatal. The man was killed. And he took pictures of a bear who had been nosing around his campsite and sent them to his family. Oh, what a fun time. Isn't this amazing? As far as I can tell from the police reports, he did not change his campsite after he sent those pictures. He stayed there. If a bear is in your campsite, not only have you chosen the wrong area, but you have set up your campsite wrong. And if a bear shows up at your campsite, you don't want to stay there. That bear is going to come back. And maybe the stuff that it finds won't be enough. And in this case, it wasn't. The man was killed. And the Arkansas officials are still looking for the bear. There's not really much doubt in their mind that the remains that they found were the result of catastrophic predation, is I think how they put it in police speak. There's only one thing that could do this. And that got me thinking again about bear safety. If bear numbers are going to increase, and they are increasing, either people are going to cull them, that horrible, inhuman term, or people are going to have to learn bear discipline in a better way than they're doing it. It's taught at every game center, but so many people just go out on a trail or into the backcountry and don't even talk to a guard or a rep of any kind. They don't get any kind of preparation as to what you should do, how you should set up your camp. Your food should be far away from your camp and strung up in a tree. At the very least, it should be so. If you happen to be in the backcountry, then you won't have bear lockers. A lot of campgrounds do have bear lockers. You can put your stuff in there so that it's far away from where you're going to camp, and it's also impenetrable to the bear, usually. But so many people are just ignoring that rule. I think this guy in Arkansas probably did. It's unfortunate because a bear is going to die because of him. In fact, for all I know, the bear has already been found and shot dead. And that's wrong. The bear, I know that sounds horrible in the particular instance, but the bear is innocent, of course. It was just preying on a helpless animal. That's all. It's your job when you are out camping to save the bear's life by saving your own life. So that struck me. This is the second bear attack in Arkansas in the year, I think. So I don't know if this is going to be the subject of headlines outside of Arkansas, but I imagine it's generating its fair share of headlines in Arkansas. Do we have a bear problem? And you know how bear problems end, so I'm hoping not. But anyway, then we can move on to broader YouTube. And here I have a few things to recommend and one thing to just raise a question about. We start with the question first. J. Warner Wallace is a Christian apologist. He claims to have been a cop and solved cold cases. That's his shtick, is that I analyze evidence, I analyze forensics, and I've analyzed the evidence of the forensics of Christianity and declare it true. So J. Warner Wallace is someone who claims that he has a respect for evidence, but he believes that goblins are real. Which ought to seal the deal right there. I know he's well respected. He has a wide teaching circuit, a lecture circuit. But that ought to seal the deal for any normal person. If you think there's forensic evidence that goblins are real, produce one. He can't. He can't produce evidence of anything like that. Not anything like that. And a lot of the pronouncements that he makes about crime are simply wrong. They're simply wrong. He makes what does he say? Some of you will know J. Warner Wallace. Some of you will watch his videos. He has an easy pronouncement about why people murder. What does he say that it is? Lust, greed, or revenge? Something like that. He always does that. He holds his three fingers together like that. I'm pretty sure they're close to that. And anyone could think of other motives why you would kill someone. Dozens of other motives. So he doesn't know his own profession, much less his new profession of being an apologist. And he had a video where he talks with Frank Turek. It's a new video. I think it went up like 10 hours ago. And I was watching it, I was thinking, okay, well, you're talking about the Charlie Kirk assassination because Frank Turek was right there. He was 5 feet away from Charlie Kirk. He was filming Charlie Kirk when Charlie Kirk, his friend, was shot dead. 2 weeks ago. What is Frank Turek doing? You can see in the video that he is still in shock. The clinical definition of shock, he shouldn't be talking to anyone about this. He should be dealing with his own feelings or going to some sort of therapy. But instead, he's talking with J. Warner Wallace, when J. Warner Wallace lets him get a word in edgewise, about whether or not there were multiple shooters. Frank Turek wouldn't know. He was literally at ground zero. He could easily have been shot himself. And J. Warner Wallace wouldn't know because his analysis of forensic evidence leads him to think that goblins are real, that angels are real. So, literal nonsense. Anyway, I don't know if I'll leave a link. I'll leave a link to that video. I should leave a link to everything and let you sort it out for yourself. But the two things that I want to recommend for broader YouTube, one is The Analog Mind, and this is an older video. I missed it completely. YouTube has recently recommended it to me, where he does a long video of his thoughts about keeping a notebook. Oh, and boy, does he keep a notebook. Wait till you see it. He opts for this big, huge thing with stuff stuck in it and rubber bands all over it, and it is his analog adjunct brain for everything. Just everything. All of his professional life in there goes in there. All of his personal thoughts go in there. His to-do lists go in there. Everything goes in there. And he not only shows you his system, as these videos tend to do, he also talks very eloquently. Once you get used to his laid-back style, he talks very eloquently about why you should keep an analog notebook, or in my case, an analog journal. He talks about why you should do that, all the benefits involved. And it's wonderful. Oh my God, if that video doesn't convince you to try it yourself, I don't know what would. I've tried to convince you over the years, but I haven't made writing videos in a while, and I should. Or at least journaling videos. But you got to watch it. It's a little old, but you got to watch it because it is wonderful. And then the other video is also a little on the Steve obsessive side. Of course, bear attacks are the Steve obsessive side, but also Bigfoot. There's also Bigfoot. There is a channel called Cabin in the Woods. And he's really good. He's a really articulate proponent of Bigfoot. He believes that there is... I haven't sounded him out exactly, but I'm pretty sure that the school of Bigfoot that he believes in is that there is a large, unknown anthropoid species of animal walking around. I don't think he thinks these things are supernatural. I think he thinks there are large animals walking around in the woods that we don't know about. And he's a very analytical channel. He has a way of analyzing all the stereotypical evidence. He wants to convince people that there's a chance these things are real. And in his latest video, he uses a 20-year-old famous clip. I've seen it on a few Bigfoot channels, that was made by a guy named Harley Hoffman, who was out in the woods and filmed something moving in the woods. And the host of Cabin in the Woods, wants to tell you that footage is real and could not be faked. And I've seen other channels where they say that. I'll leave a link to his video so you can make up your own mind. I love to give Cabin in the Woods all the benefit of the doubt, but the Harley Hoffman footage is as suspicious as could be. I don't believe it at all. Not at all. I think it is obviously fake. Why are we not seeing the whole footage? Ever. Anywhere. Why are we not seeing the whole footage? Why is there no metadata? I'm not talking about the file. It's 20 years old. You're not going to have the file. But why do we not even know where in British Columbia it was filmed, if it was filmed there? That's always suspicious. Why don't we know where this happened? why don't we know the provenance of this thing from start to finish? If we're supposed to lay all this evidence on it, if we're supposed to look at it and think this is visual proof of a gigantic, monumental scientific find, if you're going to put that much weight on it, it should be a hell of a lot more convincing than it is. So I loved listening to Cabin in the Woods analyze the footage, but looking at the footage, you won't be convinced for a second. Not for a second. Because there isn't enough of it, and it's all jumpy, and it's all over the place, and it's from two different perspectives and angles. It looks like a main take and an outtake to me. If you think different, let me know. But that is YouTube. And then we can move on to BookTube, and the big upheaval on BookTube is Shelly Swearingen, a known troublemaker, she made a video that asks, why is it that so many booktubers quit BookTube? They make a few videos, or even a lot of videos, and then they leave. Some of them come back, most of them don't, and we never know. We never hear from them again. I'm sure that your subscription feed, like mine, is full of dead channels. She made a video like that. I'll leave a link to it down below. It's incredibly thought-provoking. And Mark at Book Time with Elvis made a response video. Not necessarily disagreeing, but talking about all the points that she raises. And some of those points are very good. I have heard pretty much every reason why someone leaves BookTube. In my opinion, the one reason that people have given me that seems in a way to make the most sense, I've had some dyed-in-the-wool readers tell me, I made a whole bunch of videos, I made a lot of friends, I have no negative experiences. BookTube is not burning me out, and it's not driving me away. But it does feel like I've made too public what was before a deliciously private thing. I don't want to be doing that anymore. That's why I'm leaving. Because I tried it for a good long time. I gave it a fair chance. And I really don't think my reading wants to have a camera on it. Any part of my reading does. I've heard that from 2 or 3 people, including one dyed-in-the-wool bookman. That was his main reason for leaving. Just that nothing against BookTube at all. Nothing against the people. Just, I don't want a camera on my reading. Shelly goes over a bunch of possibilities for what your reason would be for leaving. And says, in her way, she says the same thing that I do, which is she wishes nobody would leave. Find a way to make it work. Manage your expectations, as Mark puts it. Manage your expectations and find a way to make it work. You don't have to make a multitude of videos. What kind of a freak would make 5 videos a day? Just 1 video a month is fine. You will still have a community. You will still have people who are happy to see that video. So that, I couldn't list anything else for BookTube. That is the BookTube thing for the weekend. And then there's me, the most important subject, the Tootsie Roll center of every Irish stew video is me. And the question that I have stems from BookTube. Because Ollie at Criminolly made a video just recently where he talks about how many books he has. And he puts out, he has this program through Caliber where he can count his books with an enormous spreadsheet. I had a spreadsheet like that made for me by a booktuber who quit years ago. She made a spreadsheet for all of my books, and I industriously kept that up. I wonder if that exists somewhere on some old computer that I have here. I stopped using it because it seemed like a chore. It seemed like bookkeeping. And that was a long, long time ago. That was probably 6 years ago. So I actually don't know at all how many physical books I have. Much less how many digital books I have that don't duplicate, because the number's different on every device. And that's been on my mind since I watched Ollie's video. How many books do I actually have? I obviously cannot count them. I know you'd say, what, you've got fingers and toes, you can count like anybody else. I know basic arithmetic, but I would wander off like Brown's cows. If I even started, I would wander off in no time at all. I need someone else to count the books here. That's what I need. And then to report back with the number. I would like a number for the print and paper books. I would like a number for the digital books, and then a grand number of all. I would love to have that by the end of the year. But I don't know when that would happen. Somebody would have to visit here. Anyway, that's on my mind. That's my crisis for today, is how many books do I actually have? It's way too many. When it comes to print and paper books, it's way too many. I can tell you that. I would love to know how many print and paper books I have, how many digital books I have, and how many books I have in digital form that I also have in print and paper. What is the overlap of those two? Is it 1,000 books that overlap in those two? Is it 2,000 books? I don't know. Maybe I will soon. Anyway, that's your Irish Stew video for today. I will remember to leave links to everything. And I will catch up with you next time. Thank you, BookTube.